and welcome to the Washington Farm Bureau Update, a podcast designed to provide the latest agriculture, legislative, and Farm Bureau information. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ben Tyndall. Well, one of the things that I most enjoy about being a part of the WFB Update team is that I get the opportunity to have conversations with a variety of Farm Bureau members throughout the state. What I'm struck with is that we are fortunate to have such a diverse membership, and each person has a unique background and collection of experiences. So as I chat with members and our State Farm Bureau team, I am positively surprised and impressed with the things that they have accomplished, the experiences that they've had, and the stories that they tell me. Well, today I am pleased to be joined by my colleague Caleb Gwerder, and we are looking forward to sharing with you a conversation with Kelsie Knight. Kelsie is a very active part of the Washington Farm Bureau. She is currently the treasurer and secretary of the Lincoln County Farm Bureau and also serves as the state chair of the Young Farmers and Ranchers, the YF&R program. So without further ado, let's jump into that conversation. Well, gang, I want to thank you for being a part of this today. Kelsie, I want to thank you in particular for taking the time to chat with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, we're going to spend some time in a minute discussing the YF&R program in a minute. But before we get to that, I would love to start this conversation with you, Kelsie. One of the things that I so greatly enjoy, and I think many of our listeners do as well, is when we can hear the story of other Farm Bureau members. I'd love to hear some of your story, what you've accomplished. You come from a long line of farmers and ranchers. Tell us some of your background and how you got where you're at.
Yeah, so I'm a fifth-generation cattle rancher, but farming and ranching goes back even further in my family line, from wheat and hay crops. I grew up with cows and a ranch. I grew up rodeoing. Just have always been connected with agriculture. I always showed steers at the fairs in the summertime and the spring livestock shows.
Now, it's certainly rooted deep in your heritage. Now, would you say is farming, is ranching? I know you're working on developing your own herd currently. Is this something that you've always had a passion for and a love for, or is it something that you've kind of come back into?
Well, I've always had a love for it, but after I graduated high school, I headed out with my horses and dogs. I was on the college rodeo team in Walla Walla, and I never thought I would come back and own and operate my own cow calf operation.
Yeah.
But yeah, as time went on, I just really missed it, and I knew that's the life I wanted and the life I wanted to raise my future children in.
I love it. Now tell us a little bit. Now, you have been involved with the Farm Bureau in particular for a long time as well. Tell us kind of how you got involved with the Farm Bureau. What is it that stuck out there that drew you in, and then additionally with the YF&R program?
Yeah, so my family has always been involved with Farm Bureau, and I can remember always attending every Farm Bureau annual meeting growing up. My mom always took me, and at a young age, I understood how important it was to be active in politics and the policy that affects our everyday lives as farmers and ranchers. And I just believe that everyone involved in agriculture is in this fight together. And when we stand together, our chances of winning the battle are.
Well, now talk a little about the YF&R program. So you've been involved, you mentioned, with Farm Bureau. Now, as far as the YF&R program, you are currently the state chairperson for that. And tell us about your involvement there. What is it that drew you to that program?
The YF&R program for ages 18 to 35, and I've been a part of it since I was 18. And I have been the vice chair for 2 years, and now this is the second year that I have been state chair.
Awesome. Well, now, Caleb, let me shift to you a bit. On top of your role as the policy and membership specialist here in the Farm Bureau office, you are also the YF&R coordinator. So you, in essence, serve as kind of that liaison between the YF&R participants, and the Washington Farm Bureau. So tell us a little bit about your role and explain how those two elements are connected.
That is correct. It was a role that I was kind of called on to fulfill once we had some changes around our state office. But essentially what my role is to provide a fantastic communication outlet for the YF&R program to the state office. So when it comes to any projects that the YF&R program is working on, or they need some resources from the state office, I might not have all those answers, but I certainly know that co-workers in the office can help assist the YF&R program, whether it's printing needs for fundraisers or whether it's some communication stuff that maybe they want to get in touch with some legislators, anything of that sort.
Okay. Well, now with summer approaching, this is an exciting time of year for the YF&R team. I know there are numerous events and projects that y'all are working on. So Kelsie, I'll start with you, and Caleb, please jump in. Tell us about some of these upcoming projects or programs and events that listeners can be aware of and perhaps take part in.
Yeah, so we have a few things going on right now, even with everything being canceled due to COVID-19. But we have our photo contest that we do every year where our members can enter their photos from that year. We have normally 3 categories, but this year we added 4. Those categories are two-third egg, fresh from the field. We have a budding artist with it for 13 years and under, and then women and egg.
Okay.
And each of those categories is judged, and then there's a first and second place cash prize, and those winners are announced at our annual meeting in November.
And if you do take fantastic pictures of your farms, we do ask that you send them via email to yfnr.info@gmail.com.
Good. Okay. Now, Caleb, you were telling me that there is a summer retreat coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's correct. The YF&R program went ahead and decided to do a summer retreat similar to last year's this year, and it is on July 25th and 26th. That is a weekend, so there's no worry about having to take time off work. Obviously, it's time off of agriculture, but that's just a battle that we live with every day, and it's going to be down in the Walla Walla area.
Okay.
And I believe Kelsie has some more details that she can share about that.
Perfect.
Yeah, so start the weekend off on Saturday with past business meetings, followed with local farm tours. And this year we have our YF committee rep. His name is John Iverson, and he is from Oregon.
Okay.
Exciting. We still are working on a few details, but we will be getting all of that out very soon.
Okay. Excellent. So if individuals are looking for more information, they should check out your Facebook page. Now, the other thing that I was informed of happens, I believe, each year and has something to do with peanut butter.
Yes.
Tell us about that program.
So,
what is that project?
Okay, so that is called the Harvest for All program, and that has to do with our National Young Farmers and Ranchers. It's a state competition, and you can customize it however you want. And so our state has decided to do a peanut butter drive, and that stays local. And within our state, each county competes with each other of how many pounds they can get donated. And then that county gets to choose which food bank it goes to. And then at annual meeting, the winner is announced.
I love it. Okay.
Which county raised the most pounds. Yeah.
Not only is it about peanut butter, but this is also an ASDS, a national competition. And so although we enter in as Washington State, we ask that anybody that is donating peanut butter or food items to any food banks in their local areas to get, even if it's time, even if you're just donating your time at the food bank, we ask that you get a copy of your receipt of what you donated, preferably in pounds, or just your time receipt and submit it to your local YF&R rep in your county farm bureau. And then that will get forwarded to our YF&R program. And then at the end of the year, one of my responsibilities is to get all of our food donation receipts submitted to AFBF for the national contest.
Well, now I don't want to put you too much on the spot, and you may not know the specific number, but how much peanut butter are we talking about? What did they have last year?
So last year was our first year doing this.
Okay.
And our state total brought in almost 600 pounds of peanut butter. And yeah, it was pretty great. And so the winning county just received a great bag full of YF&R gear and promotional items.
I love it. I love it. It's a fun way to really get involved, though, and make a powerful difference in these different communities. That is wonderful. I love it. I love it.
Yep, it's pretty great.
Well, are there any other programs that maybe we missed that listeners should be aware of?
Yeah, so we have competitive events. Unfortunately, we're kind of up in the air right now on how that play out, if we are having an annual this fall.
Sure.
But that is, we have the discussion meet, and then we have the Excellence Award and the Achievement Award, which those are all on our website and are pretty easy to access and read about.
Okay, good. Stay tuned, and we'll see what we can announce shortly. Okay. Well, kind of then speaking on the up in the air schedules, I know earlier this year, unfortunately, the YF&R Leadership Conference was canceled and wasn't able to take part in that. But Kelsie, I know you last year had the opportunity to go and take part in the AFBF Fusion Conference. I wanted to give you an opportunity to share with us a little bit about that experience, what you took away from it, anything that you learned that maybe could be used and implemented here in Washington.
Yeah. So last year's AFBF conference was in Milwaukee. And, every time I go to a national event, you always walk away with to come home and better our organization at every level. And, we really learn team building and the importance of our social media game. And I really believe that our Washington Farm Bureau has stepped up our social media game within this last year and keeping our members informed. And that's really important with keeping our organization growing.
Well, as far as you're thinking on YF&R, what do you see as far as kind of the next steps for the program, and maybe even specifically for Washington State's YF&R? Where would you like to see the program grow and develop? Are there things that you have gleaned from other states that you'd like to see implemented here in Washington?
Well, I feel like these last couple of years, YF&R has grown and taken some really changes,
Good.
Changed the structure of our executive team. We had a coordinator change. We've started really showing up to our state board meeting, having that voice and connection within the state. But I really want us to be more involved with policy development.
Yes.
We are the up and coming generation, and we need to have that voice in the decisions being made.
Absolutely. Caleb, is there anything that you would add to that as you're that liaison between the two, what do you see as areas for growth?
Personally, when I was first started getting involved with YF&R, I realized how strong our voice could be. And two, I realized that we really need to grow our membership with our young farmers and ranchers. Me personally, I know there's plenty of people in my area that I believe could get involved. And I know that that's the case statewide as well. So I would love to see our membership grow. And I really think that a good way of pursuing that goal would to be contacting more of our college programs, our colleges in Washington State that have agriculture programs,
yes,
and start getting more young people involved, not only with YF&R, but also on the state level so that they can learn a little bit more about Farm Bureau as well.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. Well, now the two of you are young agriculturalists. I'm stealing this from Bailey Peters. I really like that term, agriculturalists. So as we finish up here, why do you think it is important to be involved in programs like Farm Bureau, Young Farmers and Ranchers? There may be someone listening in who falls into that category and looks at the current situation and says, why should I get involved? What's the point? I'm a young person, and what difference does it make?
We're the ones that have to deal with the consequences of today's laws and policies, and we want to continue having a seat at the table and be asked in the fight, for sure.
Right.
I would relate that to, I don't know, I'm fairly fresh out of college, a few years out, and they often say that young people joining the workforce aren't going to work their jobs as a career for 30, 40 plus years, but the younger generation that's coming into the workforce has kind of been told and advised that you're going to change careers and change jobs and work for multiple different companies. But when it comes to agriculture and being a young agriculturalist, that's not so much of an option. Once you commit to working in agriculture, you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. And although that's dangerous, we know that it's because we love what we do. And so when you're betting on your entire life, you really hope that you can have a say at the beginning to make the end much more worth it.
That's a powerful perspective. Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this before I let you go. If people have any questions about YF&R and want to get in contact, want to get involved, how can they get more information? How can they reach out to you or learn more about the program?
Yeah, so, we're on Facebook. We have a website. We have an email. So just shoot us a message, and we're really good about getting back to you. And, we're always looking for new members.
Absolutely. And always check out your local county farm bureau as well and see if you can't get in contact with the county YF&R rep in your area.
All right. So it sounds like Facebook is the place to go. So check out the YF&R Facebook page for more info. Or yes, as Caleb mentioned, contact your local farm bureau, and I know that they'd be able to help you out as well. Well, y'all, thank you so much for taking time with us. Really appreciate it. This was a great conversation.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I am so grateful to Kelsie and Caleb for taking time with us, and I look forward to sharing more stories from our members about the work that they are doing and the powerful impact that Farm Bureau members and Farm Bureau leaders are having in their community. Well, I think that wraps it up for this time. Know that if you have any comments about this podcast or suggestions for future episodes, we would be glad to hear from you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Well, until next time. The WFB Update is a production of the Washington Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture in Washington State, ensuring our family farms continue to feed the world. To learn more, visit our website at www.wsfb.com.